Hello, my name is Raphael Honigstein and I'll be writing about Germany at the World Cup in Qatar. Well, they say a bad Germany team makes it to the World Cup final and a good one wins it. So Hansi Flick has a bit of leeway thanks to Joachim Loew not really doing all that well in the last couple of tournaments. The World Cup was a disaster, the Euros wasn't much better, so there isn't that kind of pressure of he has to win, he has to get to the final in order for this to be seen as a good tournament. But somewhere around the quarter-final, semi-final stage, depending on who they've got and how they do, I think that would be seen as the minimum requirement. So never that much to play with as far as the expectations are concerned. They are high, even when the team are perhaps still slightly in transition, but they have to have a decent World Cup for Flick to be seen as a success in his first big tournament. Expectations are always pretty high when it comes to the German national team, perhaps slightly lower than usual because they've had a bit of a lean spell by their standards in the last 3 or 4 years. But still, people expect the team to, of course, get out the group stage, then I think at least make it to the quarterfinals, and then depending who they've got, maybe go a little bit further. I think people are quite realistic. They understand that this team has certain strengths and certain weaknesses. They don't necessarily see them as the best team in the world. Therefore, there isn't that sense of we have to go and win there. Everything else would be seen as failure. It's unlike the situation, I would say, in 2014 when anything but a win would have probably been Loew's undoing. West Germany's most iconic World Cup moment is, of course, winning the World Cup in 1954. That shot by Helmut Rahn, which wins them the game against the Hungarians in Bern, is the story of West German football post the war. Of course, since then we've had the good fortune of winning the World Cup a few more times. Mario Götze's goal, Gerd Müller's winning goal in '74. It's a question of taste and probably of generation. I think neutrals should watch Germany because they'll be one of the best sides and most entertaining sides to watch. They are a pretty young team. They like to go forward. Hansi Flick likes to take risks with a high line, with high pressing. It's not that easy against sides who play deep themselves and are happy for Germany to have the ball. But I think as the later stages will bring bigger games and hopefully bigger opponents, then I think we'll see quite open games and quite spectacular ones. And this Germany team are best going forward. They're quite direct, and I think they'll be good value. Perhaps not the most accomplished of sides, perhaps not the real superstars. There's no Mbappe there, there's certainly no Erling Haaland there. We have a real lack of centre forwards, but all round some really good players, especially in those forward positions.
I think I'm cheating a little bit because there's going to be two centre-backs who've just made a move to new clubs. So I'm going to start with Nico Schlotterbeck, just moved from Freiburg to Borussia Dortmund. He's just a really progressive centre-back, progressive carrier of the ball, really front foot defender, really elegant on the ball. And if it wasn't Nico Schlotterbeck, another young centre-back is Armel Bella-Kotchap, just made the move to Southampton. Really young but really strong central defender, and I think he's already got one cap for Germany, his first cap in September. So if not in this squad, then certainly one to look out for in the future.
I personally think that Joshua Kimmich is Germany's most important player. He holds everything together. He's that link between defense and midfield, and sometimes attack as well when he's given license to be the playmaker in possession, often looking for little diagonal balls. Very vocal player, has a big presence, has a big aura. And because Manuel Neuer, the captain, is in goal and doesn't have that much influence during the game, I think Kimmich is sort of the secret captain of the side and is perhaps the one player that Germany would really struggle without. I think there are two big weaknesses in this Germany team. One is the lack of a big number 9. This is not a new problem. We've had it now for a while. Miroslav Klose is the last player who sort of fit the bill, although he was often happier going deep as well and linking play. But Hansi Flick has mostly played smaller players or hybrid players like Kai Havertz through the middle. But what we don't have is an Erling Haaland type figure or a Benzema or Robert Lewandowski that will guarantee you a certain amount of goals. So the team have to work a little bit harder, being a little bit more flexible. That is a problem, or that is a weakness. The other one I think is the fullback positions. Germany a little bit light there. David Raum on the left has made some progress. Of course, Jonas Hofmann on the right looks quite decent. Thilo Kehrer is a decent player, but on the whole, we don't really have, I think, the same level of quality that we have in other positions. And for a team that like to go forward with the ball, that's often been a bit of an issue that Flick needs to find answers to. Well, I don't know how much of a breakthrough it is, because we've all seen him play so beautifully and so magically well over the last few months, but I think Jamal Musiala will take another step forward and establish himself beyond Germany, beyond the connoisseurs who watch Champions League and Bundesliga football, as a real international household name. I think there's a really decent chance he will be the breakout young player at this tournament.
To put some numbers to it, since the start of last season, only Thomas Muller has had more shot-creating actions per 90 than Jamal Musiala. So it shows, again, the creativity that he's having. So shot-creating actions being the 2 offensive actions before a shot occurs. So it shows just how much he is involved in the attack. And 17 caps already for a teenager just shows just how strong his early start of the career has been.
I think people will really be very surprised and impressed by what he will deliver in Qatar. I've got high hopes for him.
Hello, I'm James Richardson. This upcoming World Cup, what are the Athletic going to be doing about it? Well, for starters, I'll be hosting a nightly Totally Football show with the likes of Raphael, Honigstein, James Horncastle and all the rest of the Totally crew. Then every morning from Qatar, wham, the Athletic Football Podcast will be at you with David Ornstein, Matt Slater, Adam Crafton and many more. There'll also be World Cup content from Adam Hurrey's Football Clichés podcast, Michael Cox's insightful Athletic Football Tactics podcast and Joe Devine's Tifo podcast with all the stories that matter from Qatar. There you go, the Athletic, your essential audio companion for the upcoming World Cup.